Hi, my name is Meike Legler. I'm a German and Vienna-based textile artist. And my background is actually in fashion design. I have a bachelor's degree in that. And before I studied that, I studied political sciences for about 2 years before I dropped out. And in the past years, my husband, who's a painter, and we had 2 kids. Our oldest is 5, the youngest 2, and we have lived already in Berlin, in New York, in LA, in my hometown in Germany, and now, since September, we live in Vienna. I never planned to become an artist, but I started making art in 2017 when we moved to LA, and I felt like I want to do something new. I didn't feel the desire to work in fashion anymore. I didn't know what else to do. So I ended up making art, and ever since I've been doing this. Next question is, one moment. You will cut all that, right? Of course you will. How does this impact how you see the world and create art? Did your upbringing prompt a specific reference point with your work? Is your work informed by certain concepts or themes from your childhood, background, socioeconomic status, and where you lived or were raised? Well, as I said, I grew up in a small town in Germany, in Bavaria, so it's rather conservative. There were no artists around, and also my family was working class, so I didn't grow up in an intellectual family where we went to museums or art shows all the time, or actually very rarely only. And my parents never forced me, though, to choose a specific path, a professional path in my life, which I thank them for. I was being really left alone with that, so in a positive way, so I could choose whatever suited me. And we didn't have all that much money, which certainly had an impact on how I grew up. I compared myself to my friends who all owned houses, or their parents owned houses, and I would say this is a topic that I still carried into adulthood, and in my current work of bodies, where I work with text on painted backgrounds, I deal with a few of these issues that, millions of people have in this world, about uncertainty, may that be of financial nature or climate change, or just fear of missing out, comparing yourself to others and what they have, keeping up with the Joneses. I would say that definitely this rolled over into my adulthood, and that question should be answered. Next question is, who are your biggest influences? All right. So in terms of big names in the art who I really like, or whose work I really like, are Sterling Ruby, Rosemarie Trockel, Sam Falls, Julia Bland, Friedrich Kunert, Sheila Hicks, Eva Hesse. From music artists, I really like PJ Harvey, and I don't necessarily try to copy them, of course, but I'm sure they have an influence on me subconsciously, or some of their styles maybe find a little bit of their way into my work, which isn't something I'm planning to do. I'm not sitting there saying I want to copy this or that, but I think it just happens, and it's okay. What are you focusing on right now? Okay, since we moved to Vienna on September 1st, I started a new body of work in which I paint for the first time, really, not with a brush, but I use acrylic paints that I water down, and then I paint. Well, I put on rubber gloves, and then I just paint with my hands, or I print the fabric on the paint that's on a plastic, on the floor, on a sheet of plastic. And I use these backgrounds to stitch sentences or just words on them that observe a little bit what's going on in our social media world. I mock them, or I question the importance of some of the things. And so I comment social themes if you want. Next question. What is the biggest challenge of being an artist? Well, I can only talk for myself, of course, but I would say the financial unpredictability is something I don't enjoy, especially when you have kids. Always thinking of, should I get a job? But if I do, I lose studio time. It's a conflict, but right now I will stick it out. I will wait a bit longer, I think, and just keep working and see what happens. And another challenge is to be seen. I think that all artists want to be seen. In the end, this is how they sell work in the end and have a career. And there are thousands of good artists out there, very good artists, and you have a lot of competition. And getting good exposure isn't so easy to get. And I would say this is also a big challenge. Next question. I'm sorry, one moment. What advice would you give to your younger self? I would say, go get a degree in psychology and become a therapist. You will always, always, always have work. It's funny because after high school, I could have gotten a place to study psychology. I had a place at a university, but I don't know, I opted out last minute. I thought, maybe not. And I have been regretting that a lot. But, yeah. I mean, you make decisions as a young person, and when you're older, you sometimes regret it. But on the other hand, regretting is also not a great thing. It doesn't really help you. But I have thought about, becoming a therapist. 7 years ago, I was ready to go back to university. But I realized the academic path is long, and I don't enjoy it that much. So yeah, I didn't do it. Not yet. Maybe I will in the future. Have you ever tried any unconventional mediums or techniques? Well, I would say the most unconventional technique maybe is that I buried some old bedsheet in the dirt. That was when we still lived in LA. My friends, they owned a property, and I could just dig a hole, bury it, and then forget about it for half a year. And it was actually really exciting to get it out of the ground again and see how the soil and the water and the bacteria and whatnot have left their traces on the fabric. And I used that fabric for some of my works. Okay. Do you listen to music or have any other type of background noise while you work, or do you prefer complete silence? I would say that only sometimes I enjoy complete silence. Mostly because, as so many artists, I work by myself, so I'm by myself, and it's nice to have another voice in the room to get some company, audio, with audio. So I listen to podcasts about political topics or psychological themes, or sometimes mystical, paranormal things, or comedies sometimes. And then also I listen to music. I just pick a song and let the algorithm of Spotify choose. And it depends a bit on what kind of energy I need. If I really need something to push me, electronic music or just songs I really like and can sing along with. Give me a boost. But very often I also really like learning about things I haven't known before, so podcasts are a good choice. What's the best reaction someone has had to your artwork? Many years ago, there was a gallerist at my studio, and he brought his partner. And she said in the end that there was no piece she didn't like. And I thought that's nice. I like that. I mean, I don't necessarily need pure admiration, but yeah, definitely feels good sometimes to get a positive feedback. Next question. What do you hope people take away from your artwork? I hope that they can take away maybe a little bit of a smile, or they can maybe recognize themselves in it and realizing that we all have the same worries, more or less. Or maybe they can also find some solace, because I have a body of work that deals a bit with life after death, and I believe in life after death. I don't know in which form, but I think that it will go on. Our spirit will keep on living, and I hope it brings them some hope in a way. Okay. All right, Stan. I hope you had a good time listening to that. Thank you so much for asking me to do this. And please let me know what images you would like to use. You can look on my Instagram or my website. And I can also send you some studio photos, like behind the scenes photos, and also a photo of myself if you want. Just let me know. Thank you.